In those days when dark clouds shroud the sky of your soul, when the burdens of life weigh heavy on your shoulders, have you ever felt a sudden moment of stillness, like a cool breeze sweeping through a parched field? This is not the silence of loneliness, but the gentle whisper of God, comforting the deepest corners of your heart. Life may have left you weary, failures cutting into the wings of your dreams like a cold wind, sorrows casting shadows over your doorstep like darkness. But, dear friend, even in the blackest night, a new dawn is stirring. A promise is quietly forming on the horizon, like the first rays of sunlight piercing through the mist, heralding the arrival of a new day. When the world outside roars with anxiety, when every news report, every whisper, every moment of uncertainty wraps your mind like thick fog, listen closely. There is a sacred stillness, quiet and unassuming, weaving its way into your soul. It is not a denial of hardship, nor naivety in the face of the storm. No, it is the voice of God, bringing peace that seeps into the marrow of your bones. Like gentle rain falling on a lake, calming its restless ripples, this peace arrives without reason or proof. It is like a child sleeping soundly in a mother's arms, warm, safe, and fearless. I know you've walked through turbulent days. There have been long nights when pain crashed against the shores of your heart like relentless waves. I too have stood in that place, where the heart trembles under the weight of life. But then, like the sun rising after a storm, there comes a sacred moment when God's grace touches you. It doesn't arrive with thunder or blinding light, but like morning dew, silent yet profound, soaking into every fingertip, every heartbeat. You feel it not on your skin, but in your chest, like a secret your soul has known since the day you were born. That is peace, dear friend, a peace that doesn't depend on your bank balance, a clear diagnosis, or a perfect relationship. It simply is, like the breath of God within you. Think of Hannah's story in the Bible. In her days of anguish, when her heart was shattered by the longing for a child, she knelt and offered her prayer in silence. Not with loud cries or complaints, but with quiet surrender. And in that stillness, God heard her, preparing a blessing far beyond what she dared to dream. Like Hannah, when you feel an inexplicable peace amidst the storm, it is a sign. It is God knocking at the door of your soul, whispering, "Get ready, my child. I am preparing something beautiful for you." This is no coincidence, no fanciful dream. It is the Holy Spirit dwelling in your doubts, in your storms, in your story. Like rain softening dry soil, this peace is a sign that God is at work. He doesn't move in chaos, but through it, like a river flowing quietly past unyielding rocks. Before he places a blessing in your hands, he places comfort in your heart. That is the order of divine things. First the whisper, then the miracle. First the peace, then the provision. Embrace that peace, like wrapping yourself in a warm coat on a frigid winter day. Don't doubt it. Don't explain it away. Let it anchor you, like roots sinking deep into the earth, steadfast against the storm. For when your heart is still, you will hear God's promise more clearly. I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future. Have you ever stood before a locked door, its cold handle beneath trembling fingers, your heart silently pleading for it to open? There are days when you knock endlessly, wait tirelessly, but receive only silence, like the wind whistling through an empty field, carrying no answer. Life can feel like a long hallway, where every door seems bolted shut, and your heart grows weary from hoping and then hurting. But, dear friend, There are sacred moments when light slips through a crack in a door you never noticed, like the first rays of morning piercing through the leaves, signaling a new day. That is when God, in his tender love, opens doors you didn't even know existed, not by your strength but by his grace. The peace you feel within, like a cool stream flowing through a barren desert, is a sign that God is moving. He doesn't need thunder or trumpets to announce his blessings. He works in quietness, like rain nourishing parched earth, like a flower blooming in the crevice of a rock, unnoticed by the world. His blessings don't come through your exhausting efforts, but through surrender, like a leaf gently falling onto a river, trusting the current to guide it. When you stop chasing, when you kneel and offer your heart, as Mary Magdalene once knelt at Jesus' feet, that is when opportunities you never sought begin to find you. An unexpected phone call, an unforeseen invitation, a friend mentioning your name in a room full of light. These are not random. They are God's hand, arranging everything, like a gardener carefully shaping branches to catch the sun. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery by his brothers, sitting in a dark prison with dreams that seemed to have faded. But in that darkness, God was weaving a greater story. One day, the prison door opened, not because Joseph knocked, but because God had prepared a throne for him. For God works all things together for the good of those who love him. So too, when you feel you've reached the end of the road, when life's map seems to offer no path, God opens a new door. It may be small, humble, like a narrow trail through a deep forest, but beyond it lies a lush meadow, where a table is set with a chair bearing your name. That is his blessing, not draped in dazzling gold, but sometimes clothed in simple workman's garb, inviting you to step forward in faith. I once heard of a woman in a small village where sea breezes carried salt and worry. She had lost her job, her confidence, and her days were like a grey sky without a hint of light. But one morning, as she sat by the shore, watching waves crash against the rocks, a stranger approached and spoke of a job opportunity she'd never considered. She stepped through that door, not with confidence, but with trembling feet, like Peter walking on water, trusting God's call. From that moment, her life bloomed like a cactus in the desert, resilient and radiant. That is how God moves. He opens doors not just to lift you from hardship, but to lead you into a greater purpose, like moonlight guiding you through the night. But, dear friend, don't miss the signs. Sometimes, God's door isn't as grand as you expect. It might be a fleeting conversation, like a soft breeze passing through your porch, carrying the scent of opportunity. It might be a kind word, like a dewdrop on a leaf, small, but enough to refresh your soul. Or a seemingly chance encounter that changes everything, like a river meeting a stream, merging to flow farther. Keep your heart open and attentive, for the divine often wears ordinary clothes. And when that door opens, step through, not with fear, but with faith, like Ruth following Naomi into a foreign land, only to find Boaz and a radiant future. When God opens a door, no one can shut it. Not envy, not doubt, not even the old wounds in your heart. That door swings wide, like the sky after a storm, inviting you to step in with your head held high, as a child of the King. You may tremble, you may wonder if you're worthy, but remember, if God has opened it, it is yours. Like a bird freed from its cage, you can soar, unbound by the chains of the past. That blessing, dear friend, is not just a reward. It is a declaration that this is your moment, your place, the story God is writing for you. When autumn winds sweep away golden leaves, leaving branches bare, Do you feel an emptiness in your heart as a once close friend quietly drifts away? When lively phone calls dwindle, like a stream drying up in summer's heat, your heart may ache, like cracked earth under a scorching sun. But, dear friend, in that loss, a gentle hand is at work, the hand of God, the wise gardener, pruning branches that no longer bear fruit to make way for a new harvest. The departure of some people, some relationships, is not punishment, but grace, like rain washing away dust to let the trees shine green again. It is how God prepares you for blessing, clearing the path for light to shine through. Those who once walked beside you, sharing laughter and tears, may now be faint shadows, like moonlight fading before dawn. Don't rush to grieve, for their departure is not abandonment. It is like the tide receding to reveal smooth sand, where precious pearls wait to be found. God knows where He is leading you, and not everyone can climb the mountain He has chosen. Like Abraham, called to leave his homeland, he didn't carry all that was familiar, only faith. For God said, "I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you." The exit of those who no longer fit your journey is a sign that God is making room for greater things, like a breeze scattering clouds to reveal a clear sky. I know a man who lived in a small village where rice fields stretched like a green tapestry. He had friends who shared lazy afternoons by the river, but when he began dreaming of a bigger future, they mocked him, like small waves taunting a ship daring to cross the sea. One day they left without a goodbye, leaving him in a stillness like a calm lake after a storm. At first, he felt alone, like a lone tree in a field. But in that quiet, he heard God's whisper, guiding him to a new job where new companions appeared, like stars twinkling in the night sky, lighting his path. That wasn't loss, but preparation, like soil turned over before planting. Don't cling to what God is gently removing. Relationships that have run dry, like a river without water, aren't meant to hurt you, but to free you, like a bird released from an iron cage. When you hold tightly to what's out of season, you unknowingly block the spring from blooming. Think of Ruth, who left her homeland of Moab to follow Naomi. She didn't cling to the past, but stepped forward in faith, and God opened a new door, leading her to Boaz, a family, and an eternal legacy. Ruth's letting go wasn't loss, but a doorway to blessing, like a river flowing through a valley to reach the vast ocean. Sometimes, departures come abruptly, like a gust sweeping away petals. The phone stops ringing, messages cease, and you wonder, what did I do wrong? But dear friend, you've done nothing wrong. You're growing, like a sapling pushing through rocky soil to reach the sun. Those who can't walk with your growth belong to a chapter of your story, not the whole book. Let them go, like leaves falling from branches, to make way for new buds. Trust that in this stillness, God is guarding your destiny, like a shepherd guiding his flock through a dark valley, keeping them safe from harm. This pruning is part of grace. It's not rejection, but redirection, like a breeze guiding a sail to the right shore. As old friends fade and the crowd's noise quiets, God steps in, bringing purpose, strength, and peace. I heard of a single mother living in a small house where wind slipped through the cracks. Those who promised to stay by her side slowly left, leaving her with long nights and her child's cries. But in that stillness, she found strength, like a small flame burning bright in a storm. One day, the neighbor brought food. A stranger invited her to a community, and she realized what had left made room for new blessings, like flowers blooming on barren land after rain. So, when the chairs around your table stand empty, When familiar laughter no longer echoes, lift your head high. It's not the end, but a beginning, like a radiant sunrise after a long night. God is clearing the stage, like a gardener shaping branches for greater heights. Your blessing is coming, and it needs space to land, like a kite soaring, needing an open sky to fly. Step forward lighter now, for every departure is an entrance to something greater, like a path leading to a field of flowers where God's light awaits you. When dawn quietly gilds the dew-soaked grass, do you sense a new rhythm in your soul, like a river finding its course after days blocked by rocks? Life may still brim with challenges, bills piling up like clouds before a storm, health fragile as petals in the wind, or relationships crumbling like dry, cracked earth. But within you, a sacred shift is unfolding, like a spring breeze sweeping through a field, awakening dormant sprouts. This is no illusion, nor mere chance. It is the hand of God, the artist painting your life's canvas, vibrant, adding strokes of hope, preparing you for the blessing to come. The peace you've felt, like a still lake reflecting the moon, was the first sign. But now, your soul begins to stir, like a sapling stretching upward through stone to greet the sun. Old anxieties, once clinging like moss to rock, now dissolve, like mist fading in the sun's warmth. You awaken each morning not dread, but with expectation, like a farmer gazing at fields awaiting a golden harvest. Your mind no longer wrestles with failure's grip, but dances with faith, like water skipping through a valley. This is the shift of your heart, dear friend, a sign that God is working within you, like a potter molding clay into a precious vessel. Think of David, the young shepherd, standing in pastures with only his flock and harp for company. Before he became king, his heart was shaped by God through long nights, singing psalms beneath a starlit sky. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In that stillness, David learned not only to face lions and bears, but to trust in God. Likewise, when you notice a change, when bitter words once easily spoken give way to faith-filled declarations like, "I don't know how, but I know God will," that's a sign heaven has touched you. Your tongue becomes a pen, writing words of hope, like a river carrying silt to enrich the land. I heard of a woman in a small city where dusty roads buzzed with traffic's noise. She once lived in fear, like a bird cowering in a cage, anxious about tomorrow. But one day, sitting by her window, watching rain fall like musical notes, she felt an unfamiliar peace, like a petal gently drifting to the ground. She began to pray, not in desperation, but with gratitude, like trees stretching branches to thank the rain. Slowly she noticed she no longer chased pointless arguments, like waves retreating from the shore. She found joy in simple things, a child's smile, a ray of light through clouds, and knew her heart was shifting, like a sail catching wind toward a new horizon. This shift isn't just a change within you, it's preparation for blessing, like soil tilled before planting. Things that once distracted you, gossip, petty disputes, now seem like meaningless noise, like wind passing without swaying a mighty oak. You crave truth, like a clear stream in a desert. You seek stillness, like a bird flying home after a long day. You hunger for purpose, like parched earth awaiting rain. These are signs that God is sowing seeds of blessing in you, like a farmer planting in fertile fields, awaiting a radiant harvest. Sometimes, this shift brings surprises, like rain in a dry season. Doors you hoped to enter may close, like brittle branches snapping in the wind. The job you thought you needed may not come, like clouds drifting without rain. But don't see this as rejection. It's God's redirection, like a shepherd guiding his flock down a safe path. Think of Esther, once an orphaned girl in the shadows of obscurity. When God's time came, she was led to a palace, not by her own plans, but by his hand. The shift in Esther's heart, from fear to courage, prepared her for a great purpose, saving her people. So too, when you feel changes within, God is rearranging things, like a gardener bending branches to catch more light. Dear friend, when your heart begins to speak a new language, the language of faith, hope, and gratitude, don't dismiss it. It's the Holy Spirit, like a breeze through your soul's garden, signaling spring's approach. You no longer plead in despair, but give thanks before the blessing arrives, like Abraham standing on promised land, trusting God's word, though the fruit was unseen. That blessing is wrapped in glory, sealed with grace like a flower tucked in a bud before it blooms. All you need is to be ready, like soil awaiting rain, like a sky awaiting stars. When winds sweep through fields, carrying autumn's whispers, do you feel a quiet enveloping you, like a lake unruffled beneath silver moonlight? There are days when the phone falls silent, like a stream drying in summer's heat, and familiar faces that once filled your room fade into distant memories, like stars dimming before dawn. Your heart may ache, like bare branches after leaves have fallen. But, dear friend, this is not abandonment. It is sacred solitude, like land resting before a new planting, where God is clearing space for his blessing to land, like a bird returning to its nest after a long journey. This stillness is not punishment, but a sanctuary, like a cave shielding a spring from a storm. When familiar voices grow quiet, when lively invitations fade, it's God, the wise gardener, pruning your life's branches. Not everyone leaves with malice, but because your journey is climbing a higher mountain, one not all can follow. Like Jesus, who went to the mountain to pray with only chosen disciples, you're being led to a sacred space where God's whisper rings clearer, like a soft breeze through leaves, carrying his promise. God says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." In this solitude, you're not alone. You're wrapped in his love, like the sky embracing the stars. I knew a man who lived in a small house where cold winds slipped through the cracks. He once had friends, evenings brimming with laughter, but when he followed a deep calling in his heart, they left, like leaves falling from branches in winter. At first, he felt empty, like a field after harvest, stripped of golden grain. But in that quiet, he found new strength, like a small flame glowing in the dark. He began writing his dreams, like a farmer sowing seeds in fresh soil, and soon new companions appeared, like small streams joining a mighty river, supporting and walking with him. That wasn't loss, but divine arrangement, like soil turned over to welcome seeds. This solitude is a gift in disguise, like rain in a desert, coaxing flowers you never expected. It teaches you to hear God's voice, like Elijah hearing a gentle whisper after wind and earthquake. In that quiet space, you discover your own strength, like an ancient tree standing firm in a storm, roots deep in the earth. You realize not everyone can walk with the light growing within you. Some know only the you of yesterday, like darkness knows the night, but can't grasp the glory radiating from your future. So, with a tender touch, God lets them go, like waves receding to reveal smooth sand, where his blessing will rest. Think of Mary, Jesus' mother, when she accepted the call to bear the Saviour. In those early days, she was alone with her sacred mission, like a hill standing silent in a valley. But in that solitude, She found strength, like a star guiding wise men. Mary's separation wasn't isolation, but space for God to work, like land resting for a bountiful harvest. So too, when your circle shrinks, when noise fades, it's a sign God is filtering out what no longer serves you, like a gardener pruning branches for the tree to grow taller, catching more light. Don't fear this stillness, dear friend. Embrace it, like soil cradling a seed, awaiting its sprout. Let it teach you to cherish your own company, like a bird learning to fly alone before leading a flock. In that space, you'll hear heaven's whisper clearer, like a stream babbling in a deep forest. You'll see who truly supports your light, like trees sheltering each other in the wind. And when new people arrive, companions sent by God, like sunlight breaking through clouds, you'll know them not by their noise, but by their steadiness, like a fire burning evenly in a hearth, offering warmth and light. This sacred solitude, like a snow-covered field in winter, isn't a grave for dreams, but a cradle for them. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming, like the pause between heartbeats. God is carving his blessing into you, like a craftsman etching your name into wood, preparing a seat for you at his feast. And when the blessing arrives, like spring rain refreshing dry earth, it won't find you broken or bitter. It will find you strong, ready, like a sail catching wind, poised to glide across an ocean of purpose and grace. When dawn quietly gilds the dew-soaked grass, do you hear the pulse of a new season approaching, like a field's heart waking from a long winter's sleep? Your life, though it has crossed deep, dark nights where pain sliced through your soul like a cold wind, or rugged paths that seemed to lead nowhere, is now guided by God's gentle hand. The peace, like a cool stream through a barren desert, has anchored you in chaotic days. Unexpected doors, like moonlight, guiding through darkness, have opened opportunities you never dared dream. Pruning, like dry branches trimmed from a tree, has made way for hope's tender shoots. Sacred solitude, like land resting before a harvest, has become a place where God whispers his promises. And the shift in your heart, like a spring breeze waking dormant life, has prepared you for a great blessing, like rain reviving dry earth, bringing life and light. Dear friend, this is your moment, when heaven stoops low, like the sky embracing twinkling stars. Every scar on your heart, every tear you've shed, is a precious gem in the story God is writing, like a jeweler crafting a radiant crown. His blessing isn't just a reward, but a declaration that you are loved, chosen, guided by a hand that never lets go. Like the father in the story of the prodigal son, God has waited for you, arms open, a feast prepared to welcome you home. Let your heart rejoice and be at peace, for the Lord has done great things. What you've lost, like golden leaves falling in autumn's breeze, isn't an end, but a beginning, like soil tilled for new seeds. See how nature testifies to God's faithfulness. Each morning, the sun rises, never breaking its promise, like his word that never changes. Each rain, even after days of drought, brings life, like his grace arriving right on time. So too, your blessing is on its way, like a river flowing through a valley, unstoppable. Though you've walked through fire, your soul still whispers, "I will not be consumed." Though you've faced storms, your heart still declares, "Peace, be still." That is the power of faith, like an ancient tree standing firm in a tempest, roots deep in the earth, unshaken by anything. Dear friend, don't fear the steps ahead, though the path may be misty, like a field at dawn. Each step you take, even trembling, is a stride into God's light, like a bird flying home beneath a clear sky. Your blessing is not far, like a sunrise ready to blaze on the horizon. Stand up, lift your head, and walk in faith, like Joshua leading Israel across the Jordan, knowing the promised land is near. Right now, dear friend, stand up and open your heart. Though the world roars, though your heart has been broken, hear God's whisper in the stillness. I am doing a new thing for you. Your blessing isn't a distant dream, but sunlight ready to shine. Believe, wait, and be ready, for your cup is about to overflow, and no one can steal the light God has placed in you. And please share your story with us in the comments below so we can hear your journey.